Welcome. Today's Thursday, March 21st, and it is noon to 1, Math 123. Today we're going to look at sections 10 and 11 in your book. And I want to just let you know here that the Excel credit cards, today's the 21st. WebWork 9 and the Excel models and Quiz 4 are all due tomorrow. And then today's lesson covers section 10 and 11, so WebWorks number 10 and 11, and the Excel credit cards assignment will be due next Friday. And then you shouldn't have any problem scheduling your exam at this point. I believe the exam can be scheduled between April 1st and April 13th. So it has to be done by April 13th. So make sure you get that scheduled. If you have any trouble with that, let me know. If you had trouble before today, don't worry about it. Just try again, okay? All right. So also the Trendlines assignment, when I graded that, I want you to note that the directions said to write your responses for the last part as paragraphs. And some of you just put answers in with the question. And so you might have gotten docked a little bit there just for not following those directions and writing it as paragraphs. And then the midterm grades are all submitted and good to go. So we're going to go ahead and get rolling here. And if you have questions as we go along, make sure you stop me, okay? All right. So in section 10 here on page 130, we are looking at credit cards and finance charges first. And it says here, a credit card allows an individual to borrow money on a short-term basis to pay for goods and services with the promise of payment in the future. Credit cards afford individuals a great deal of convenience by removing the need to carry cash for purchases and providing an opportunity to establish a favorable credit history. So we're going to look at this $1,000 balance with an APR, which is the annual percentage rate of 16.99%. So that's the yearly rate is 16.99%. It says here, credit card companies are only allowed to charge the user interest for the period of time that the money is borrowed. They compute the finance charge based on a daily interest rate, which is the APR divided by 365, for the number of days that the money is in use. However, to simplify our calculations, we will use the monthly interest rate, the APR divided by 12. And it says here, note, the lender will not charge a finance charge if the entire balance of the credit card is paid before the monthly due date. In addition, almost all credit cards have a grace period in which no interest is charged between the purchase date of the item and when the bill is received. So I'm not going to worry about this part right here. We're not too concerned with that. But this is the part we want to use. We don't want to be rounding it. We're just going to use that in our calculation. So it says, in this example, the monthly interest rate is the APR of 16% divided by 12. And so if we wanted to find the finance charge on that $1,000 from up there in that question, or I guess it would be up here, then we would take the $1,000 times 0.1699 divided by 12, and we get a finance charge of $14.16. So I want to show you that if you remember when we first talked about interest, we said the interest is the principal times the rate times the time, and the time was in years and the rate was as a decimal. So if you think about this finance charge, the principal is the amount that you borrowed, $1,000 in this case. The rate is the 16.99%, so 0.1699. And the time is 1 month, so 1/12 of a year. And so this part right here, those two together represent that fraction, the rate and the time. So we're just calculating monthly interest in this case. So it says, calculate the finance charge for a carryover balance of $1,650 with an APR of 23.99%. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to have you do the next one. So I'm going to do $1,650 times my APR, 0.2399, divided by 12, because we just want the 1 month finance charge. And dropping that in the calculator, I got $32.99. See if you can do number 4. And when you have number 4, actually let's do number 4 and number 5. And when you have those complete, don't put your answer in the chat box, but put it in the, or excuse me, just give me a hand raise so I know you're done and we can talk about them then. So I'm going to give you about a minute or two to do number 4 and 5. And when you have those complete, put up a hand raise. All right, most of you are done, so let's go ahead and get on with this. So number 4 here, calculate the finance charge for the carryover balance of $16.50 with an APR of 15.99% this time. And so in the chat, why don't you tell me what kind of answers you got? All right, those look good. $21.99. Perfect. And what difference did the lower APR make in the finance charge? All right, so mathematically it was $11 difference. And we can say the lower APR resulted in decreasing the finance charge by $11 if you want to put it in a sentence. Yeah, thanks, Alexandra. The lower APR does mean a lower finance charge, as long as you're talking about the same balance that you're using. So on the next page, we're looking at these credit card fees. And it says, if every credit card user paid his or her balance completely every month, there would be no finance charges owed to the lenders. Credit card companies are in business to make money, however, so there are a variety of other fees associated with the use of credit cards. If the lender does not receive the monthly payment by the due date, there will likely be a late payment fee, and your APR may increase dramatically. The late fee is inconvenient, but an increase in the APR has a bigger impact in the long run. Having your APR permanently increased to as much as 29.99% for making a single late payment is not unusual, and any payment received by the lender after the due date is considered a late payment. So it says it's also possible to incur additional fees by exceeding the credit limit. So if your credit card says typically $300 to $500 as a credit limit, they do that in the hope that inexperienced card users will exceed their limit. This generates additional income for the lender. The over-the-limit fee can add an additional $15 to $39 charge and may also result in an increase of the APR. Failure to make at least a minimum monthly payment could also result in similar fees and penalties. It's extremely important to read all the fine print on the original credit card application and any subsequent materials that the credit card company sends. So let's look at this example on the next page. It says here there's an APR of 15.99%. The penalty APR is up to 29.99%, depending on the credit worthiness, it says. And late payment fee of $35, return payment fee of $25. That'd be like if you wrote them a check and the check didn't clear, they are going to charge you $25 for that. And your bank is probably going to charge you too. Over the limit fee, $39. Cashback rewards. Oh, here's the good part. Earn a full 1% on purchases after your total annual purchases exceed $3,000. And purchases that are part of your first $1,500 earn a whopping 0.25%, and purchases that are part of the second $1,500 earn an amazing 0.50%. The credit limit here is $500, and the minimum monthly payment is $20, or 5% of your new balance, whichever is greater. So let's see. Suppose Jennifer has a new credit card with the above rules. Her credit limit is $500. She purchases $195 in school supplies at the beginning of the month. Jennifer pays only the minimum payment the month of the purchase, so there's no finance charge. What is her minimum payment? We're going to have to take that $195 times 0.05 and see what that is, and see if it's greater or lower than $20. And that looks like $9.75. So her minimum payment is going to be $20 because it says whichever is greater, the $20 or the 5%. So it says, what is her carryover balance? Well, she's going to have that $195 that she purchased minus the $20 payment that she makes. So that's going to be our carryover balance. So we're going to complete the table, and let's see, the monthly finance charge. So her APR is 15.99. So we're going to do 175 times 0.1599 divided by 12 and get that finance charge. And I got $2.33. We have to use the 175, not the 195, because she already paid $20. That makes sense, Megan. All right. So no new purchases, no other fees. So the balance is going to be $177.33. So now we just find the minimum payment. So we can check 177.33 times 0.05. We know it's going to be less than $20 because the 195 was less than $20. But we'll check it and put it in here just to show you. Multiplying that out, I got $8.87. So the minimum payment is going to be $20 again. Remember, it's that 5% or $20, whichever is greater. So let's say she makes that payment, and that's going to make $157.33 as the new balance that carries over to the next month. So the big question is, what will Jennifer's cashback reward actually be for the school supplies? So let's check. $195 she bought in school supplies. I gotta scroll back up here and look what the cashback reward is. It looks like purchases that are part of your first $1,500, which is what that is, earn 0.25%. Now 0.25%, remember we have to move the decimal to the left to get that out of the percent form. So it becomes 0.0025 when we multiply it. And that is 49 cents. So think about this. She had a finance charge of $2.33, all to get that cashback reward of 49 cents. So she's still in the negative. So let's see. Number 4 on the next page. Assume that Jennifer is so excited about the prospect of a cashback reward that she purchases a $400 plane ticket to go to Cancun for spring break. What will Jennifer's cashback reward be for the plane ticket? Let's find out. $400. It's still the part of that first 1,500. So 0.0025. Yes, she earned a whopping $1. Okay. When my oldest son was, I think, 2 years old, he wanted to go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal, and I said, nope, those toys are just a gimmick. They're a Happy Meal gimmick. So he has called them a Happy Meal gimmick since he was 2 years old, and he never wanted the Happy Meal because it was just a gimmick. I'm so proud of him. So he's well on his way to being an Eagle Scout now, just a few more months. All right. So Jennifer has now exceeded her credit limit. Oh no. The credit card company is going to slam her with fees and change her APR to 29.99%. Obviously, I'm not reading it as written. I have to make it more exciting. Update the table below, given this new circumstance. So let's see. We have to calculate Jennifer's month 2 finance charge using her new higher monthly rate on the carryover balance. So let's see. The carryover balance was 157.33, if I remember right. The finance charge, we have to find the finance charge on this. 157.33. And remember, now she's getting that higher finance charge of 29.99%, so 0.2999 over 12. And it does look like 393. Thank you all for getting that in there. You're awesome. 393. The new purchases were $400. And whoops, that brought her over the limit, right? So let's see, the over the limit fee was $39. So we're going to put that $39 in there. And these together should get you that new balance of $600.26, and it does. So now we're going to find the minimum payment. So $600.26 times that 0.05. It's going to be just over $30 probably. How about $30 and a penny? And that's more than $20, right? So that's the one that we're going to use. And then to get the carryover balance, we're going to subtract these two. So it looks like 570.25. All right, so is that making some sense? A little bit? If there's a part you're confused on, please tell me. All right, well, we will move on to looking at this a little more in depth. So it says, since credit cards all require a minimum payment by the due date each month, let's explore what happens to the balance if only the minimum payment is made each month. So we're going to look at this. Let me go a little bit further here. Okay, we're going to look at this 22.99% on the $3,000 with a minimum payment of 3%. So the finance charge, we're going to take that $3,000 times 0.2299 and divide by 12, and we'll get the finance charge for the first month. Well, we're on the 22.99%, so make sure you do 0.2299. And I think it is 57.48. And then it wants the new balance. So it's going to be 3,000 plus 57.48. So it's going to be 3,057.48. And then we want to find the minimum payment. That's that 3% right here. So we're going to take 3057.48 times 0.03. $91.72. See if you get that. All right. Good, good, good. So it says the minimum payment covers the finance charge. Anything left over reduces the balance. How much does the minimum payment reduce the balance? So let's take that 91.72 and subtract the interest or the finance charge. And this is how much the balance gets reduced. Well, it looks like about $34.24. So making that $92 payment is only going to reduce your original $3,000 balance by $34 because of that finance charge. So he wants to know what the new carryover balance is going to be. It's going to be you can do it one of two ways. You can subtract these two, or you can do 3,000 minus the 34.24. It doesn't matter which way you do it. You get the same result. And it looks like 29.65.76. Looks like many of you are getting that. So 29.65 and 76 cents. So it says, what can you conclude so far about only making the minimum payment each month? And hopefully you see that if you only make the minimum payment, your balance only decreases a little bit. And it's going to take a very long time to pay that credit card off. I think I calculated it one time, like an $8,000 balance on a credit card with a mild APR is like 26 years to pay it off if you pay just the minimum payment. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you how to do this in Excel because you'll have to do that for your assignment. So I'm going to pull up my Excel. We're doing $3,000. So I want to show you, let me change the view just a little bit here. I'm going to zoom in and let's see. I have to manipulate my screen just a little bit because I can't see everything here. Oops, too far. All right. So let's see. The way I do this is I do month one, and then I do a formula. So I do equals this one plus one, and then I can just get the little black cross down there and carry it down. Okay, so you can carry that down as far as you want. We only need the first 4 months though. So the starting balance, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make all of these dollars. So we hit the dollar sign there. The starting balance was $3,000. The finance charge is a formula, and let's see, we're using that 22.99%. So the formula would be the balance before it times 0.2299 divided by 12. And there's the finance charge. Again, there's the formula. And then the new balance is the starting balance plus the finance charge. Make sure you put equal signs in there. And then you can go back and review this video when you're doing your assignment. I would recommend you do that. And then the minimum payment, I think that was 3%. So we're going to take equals the new balance times 0.03. And then the next month's balance, remember, was equals the new balance up here minus the payment that they make. And then what we can do is we can just drag these down and it'll fill them in for us. Okay, so I think that let me see where it wanted us to go with this. It wanted us to go to month 4. So it only wanted us to go this far. All right, so that's how we can do that with Excel, and how you should do that with your Excel assignment. And again, you know, that recording is right around, I want to say minute 23, let's say, somewhere around 23 minutes when you go back to look at this, okay? All right, so let's look. Oh, let me ask first, are there any questions on those credit card things? Did that make a little bit of sense? Are we good? What questions do you have? Let me take one. I'm going to require one question so we can move on. So I need one question about this, something that's not clear maybe, and then we can move on to section 811. So give me one question, at least one question about the credit card stuff, if you have any questions. Don't be shy. Yeah, if her check bounces, that goes to her bank though. That doesn't go to the credit card. It's going to be, yeah. Actually, I'm sorry, I misread your question. So if she bounces her check, there's going to be a fee to the credit card company of $25, but she'll also probably get a charge at her bank for overdrawing, right? Plus a late fee. Yeah. Yep. That'll really stack up. And then that higher APR because of the late fee and all that. It can add up pretty quickly. That's for sure. Don't screw it up. That's the moral of the story. So a lot of people think you have to use a credit card to establish a good credit history to buy something big, like a house or a car. But you don't actually have to. You can use your rent, your utility bills, things like that, steady payments on a student loan. All of those things show good credit, and you can get a house loan, a mortgage, without having a credit card. You know, I guess I was told once by a good friend of mine. He said, you don't need any credit if you have cash. So, if you have that $130,000 saved up to buy your house, that's fine. You don't need to worry about your credit because you can just pay cash for it. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's look at this mortgage payment. So let's see. Section 11 starts on page 139, and this example starts on page 140. Yes, we do appreciate our veterans. So it says here, mortgage payments vary depending on the amount of the down payment, the interest rate of the loan, and the lifetime of the loan. Most mortgages are for 30 years, though 20 and 15-year mortgages are options for some, or even a 10-year mortgage too. For the examples in this book, we will assume that all loans are fixed rate and fully amortized over the given number of years. So what amortized means is that you pay the same amount every month, and in the beginning, the interest amount that you're paying is higher and the principal is lower, and then towards the end of the loan, you're only paying a little bit of interest, and most of what you're paying is principal, the amount you borrowed. So that's what amortized means. It means you pay the same amount every month, not like the credit card. Okay. So here it says Roger has found a home to purchase for $115,900 and has agreed to pay 20% down. What will Roger's down payment be? So we're going to find out how much he's going to put down. He's going to put down 20% of the price on the home. So 115.9 times 0.20. Thank you, Anna. it's 23,180, and some of you others are getting that in there. Perfect. So that's how much Roger's going to give cash to the bank when he goes to make this purchase. And whatever's left, he's going to have to borrow. So the amount he's going to borrow is the 15,900 minus the 23,180. Okay, so he's not mortgaging the price of the home. He's mortgaging the balance after he makes the down payment, which is 92,720. Good job. All right, so it says to calculate Roger's mortgage payment each month, we need to know the interest rate of the mortgage, how many years the mortgage is to be paid over, and how much is being borrowed. So Roger's lender is going to give him a 3.75% for 20 years. And it says here there's a formula we can use in Excel to find out what the monthly payment will be. Now this monthly payment, please note, does not include taxes and insurance, okay? So sometimes young couples or young people go out and house shop and they go, oh, we can get this house because it's only going to be $600 a month. Well, and they can afford that, but then when you add the taxes and insurance that get added into that amount that you have to pay your lender each month because it's escrowed, pay your taxes and your insurance, it might be $150 or $200 or $300 more a month than what that payment on the loan is. So make sure you get all the facts. So let me show you how we put this in Excel. Okay, I'll just scroll down a little bit here and do it. We're going to use this Pmt function. And the way we're going to do is we're going to get the monthly rate. So his interest rate was 3.75%, so 0.0375 divided by 12 gives us the monthly rate. And then comma, now the number of payments, well, he's going to do 20 years times 12 payments each year, so 240, or you can put that in there like that. And then the amount he's going to borrow. Now we put this in as a negative because it's money that he's spending, right? So it was 92,720. And this will shoot out what his monthly payment will be. So notice the monthly rate, the number of months total, and the amount being borrowed. That's how we can find out what the monthly payment will be. So Roger will have to pay, or whoever this is this time, Roger, will have to pay $549.73 every month for those 20 years to pay off this loan. And that's what it shows us right here. So let's just see this here. For Roger's mortgage, what will the monthly interest rate be? It'll be 0.0375 divided by 12. That's his monthly rate. The number of payments, 20 times 12. 20 years, 12 months. 240. And don't forget that equals sign when you put these formulas in. All right, so let's see. Let's look at the interest aspect of this, and then we'll move on a little bit further. Using Roger's monthly payment of $549.73, answer each of the following. How much will Roger pay in mortgage payments over the 20 years of the loan? So let's see. He's going to pay $549.73 times 240 payments. And that needs to go in the calculator. Perfect. 131. Whoops, comma. 935 and 20 cents. Yeah, so he's borrowing 92,000, remember, 92 or 93,000, and he's paying 131.9. So he's paying like $40,000 more in interest. He's paying $40,000 in interest essentially to borrow that money. So how much will he borrow? Okay, that's a good question. 131, 935, 20 minus the 92,720, right? The amount he borrowed. And it looks like, Megan, we're going to go with your answer. We're counting on you to be right. 39,215 and 20 cents. So $39,000 in interest. He wants to know what the ratio of his interest to the total mortgage payment will be. And then it says write this ratio in a meaningful sentence. Now we can write this ratio in a meaningful sentence because it's a part to whole. So I'm going to do the work over here on the side. 39,215, 20 is the interest. So it's the ratio of the interest to the total payments, 131, 935, 20. So let's see what we get. I got 0.297. So this is a part to whole ratio, and that means we can write this as a percent and then make a statement about it. We can say in 20 years of making payments, I have to clarify this. Not 20 years of making payments, 20 years of making only the minimum payment, right? Of making only that $549. Let's see. Roger will have 29.7% of his money go towards interest. All right, so it says here, that's a lot of interest. Each payment consists of interest as well as principal, but only the principal part reduces the balance of the loan. So it says, what if Roger borrowed this $92,720 for only 1 month? How much interest would he owe for that month? So let's see, 92,720 times the rate was 0.0375 divided by 12. And it looks like Megan got 289.75. That's what I got also. So that's how much would go towards interest. So think about this. We have the $549.73 that Roger has to pay, and $289.75 is going towards interest. So we can find out how much the mortgage balance decreased. It looks like $259.98. So the mortgage balance wouldn't be $92,720 anymore. It would be $92,720 minus the $259.98. $92,720 minus $259.98 would be the new balance on his mortgage. And it is $92,460 and 2 cents. So number 11 goes on to say, will he owe as much in interest the next month? So his new loan balance is $92,460 and 2 cents. Will he have to pay as much in interest? Anna says no. How come? Yeah, the balance went down, right? So instead of doing the 92,720 here, we're going to do the 92,460 and 2 cents times that. So it's going to go down a little bit. That means that he's going to pay less in interest on the next payment, and more of the money is going to go towards the principal, right? The principal balance is lower. So here's this chart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it out in Excel with you again. So let me start it here. I'm going to have to type real fast. Month. And the next one is balance at the start of the next month. This was monthly interest. And then the mortgage payment. And then this is the decreased mortgage balance. It's not the new balance. It's just the decreased mortgage balance. Okay. And so let's look again. So I'm going to do 1, and then I'm going to do equals that plus 1, and then pull it down. The balance at the start, well, again, I'm going to have to put these as dollars. And then the balance was 92,720. The monthly interest, now this is a formula. So the formula is equals the balance to start times that interest rate divided by 12. The mortgage payment is the same every time, $549.73, I think it was. And so I'm just going to copy this one down. And then the decreased mortgage balance, again, equals the payment minus the amount of interest. That's how much the balance decreased. If you wanted to go a step further, you could, put the new balance out here. But we're going to do that anyway in the next block. The new balance is going to be this one minus the decrease, right? So we can do that down here though. So this one here is in the chart in your book, so we'll do it. It's going to be the balance at the start, the previous balance, minus the decrease. And then we can just pull these values down. And there's our chart filled out. Okay. So again, you can do all this by hand, and you're going to have to know how to do it, right, with your calculator. But I'm showing you how to do it in Excel because this mortgage stuff, and then the stuff we're going to do here as we finish out class is going to be a big part of your project on your next project. So be aware of that. All right, so let's look at some different kinds of loans that carry the same idea. The first one we'll look at is on page 142, and it's a car loan. And it says Andrea here is going to get a new car. Her dream car is a 2016 Camaro, and it costs $38,000. She has $4,000 to put towards a down payment, and she's going to get a 3% APR for 60 months. How much will she need to borrow? And how did you get the $34,000, Megan? Right, the cost minus the down payment. So $34,000. That's how much she's going to have to borrow. What would Andrea need to type into Excel to get her monthly payment? Well, again, we're going to do the equals PMT parentheses the monthly, so 0.03 divided by 12. the number of payments, it said 60 months, and then how much is she borrowing? 34,000 with a negative in front of it. So that's what we would type into Excel. And as a matter of fact, if you look on the last page in the section, oops, not the last page, on page 146, there's a table, just in case you don't have Excel in front of you, you could still answer the questions in the book. And if you look at the top left of the table, this is what it shows. And so it shows her monthly payment is going to be $610.94. And that's what Excel gives us. So we would type in equals PMT 0.03 for that 3% divided by 12, so it's monthly. The 60 payments, 60 months, and then how much she's borrowing, 34,000 negative, and it does give us 610.94. Now it says, what will the total of all of Andrea's payments be? So 610.94 times the 60 months. Let's see, 36, 656 and 40 cents. Yeah. How much will she pay in interest? Well, let's see, she borrowed 34, so it's going to be that 36,656 minus 34, the amount she borrowed. How much did that car cost her altogether, by the way? $40,000, right? Thank you, Stephanie. So yeah, if we take this amount that she paid plus the down payment that she gave, that $4,000 plus, she would have paid over $40,000 for that car. Okay. All right. So let's see. Now Excel has another function, and it's called the present value function. And so the function we looked at last, this PMT, allows us to find the payment if we know how much we're borrowing. The PV function, the present value function, says if you know how much you can pay each month, this will tell you how much you could borrow. And again, it doesn't take into consideration taxes and insurance. So the PV function, so we're looking at a 30-year, 4.25%, $875 payment. I'm going to show you this in Excel so you can see it. So equals PV, and it was, I have to look at it again. Four and a quarter percent, so 0.0425, oops, 25 divided by 12, comma, how many payments? Well, she's going to borrow this for 30 years, so 30 times 12 or 360, and then she's going to pay $875 a month. And this is how much she could afford. She could borrow $867.26. So here it is, the rate divided by 12, the number of payments, and then how much she can pay each month. And that will give us what we call the present value, or how much she could borrow. And there it is again. So it says determine the mortgage amount Brian and Julie can afford if they choose the 15-year mortgage at a fixed rate of 3.5%. So let's do that. Let me grab this again. So now we're going to do a 15-year mortgage at 3.5%. So 0.035 divided by 12, comma, 15 years times 12 payments, comma, and then that negative 875 again. And you can look all this up on page 146. So they could borrow, so this was the 30-year, and this one is the 15-year, even with a lower interest rate. And then it says how much will they pay in interest. So I have to put this number in here. So let's see. 122, 397, 73 was how much they could do it on a 15-year. How much will they pay in interest for the 15-year mortgage? Well, 12 payments times 15 years times $875 would be how much they would pay altogether. Then we can just subtract the amount that they could borrow. So it looks like they would pay $157,500 altogether. And then they would be borrowing the 122, 397, 73. And then the difference in there would be the interest that they would have had to pay. It looks like $35,102.27. Yeah, and then the next question says, how much interest would they pay on the 30-year loan? So remember, the 30-year loan was for this much, and we've got to figure out how much the total paid was. So 12 times 30 years times that 875, I guess would be twice as much as this, right? And that is 315,000 minus the amount that they would be financing, 177,867.26, and the amount of interest they would pay for this loan is quite high. $137,000 in interest. So $35,000 interest on the 15-year loan versus $137,000 on the 30-year loan. Now think about this. Look at these two numbers right here. They're borrowing $177,000, so the house is only worth $177,000. They're paying $315,000 for it. They're paying almost twice as much because of that amount of interest. All right, so here's my last question. Brian's best friend Cliff is house hunting as well. He is currently paying $935 in rent and would rather be spending that amount on a mortgage payment. If he were to choose a 30-year, 4.25% interest rate, how much of a mortgage could Cliff afford? So if you have Excel handy, do it on Excel. If not, you can look at the chart on the next page based on what you would have to put in. So what I would do is I would write, what would I have to put in here? What would my function look like? And then look that up on page 146. So I'll give you a minute to do that. So let's take a look. So we're doing the 4.25%, so 0.0425 divided by 12, and then 30 years, so 12 times 30, and then the payment amount, negative 935. And that one looks like it's about number 3 on the right-hand side. So Brian's friend Cliff could borrow $190,063.87. And again, remember, if you choose to look at it this way for yourself, remember that this does not include taxes and insurance. So, maybe you want to cut that down by $200 and then look. Okay? Because you'll have to add some money in for taxes and insurance. So that's what this would look like. And you guys did great typing that in there in the chat box. I see you've got it. Make sure that you include all these parts, the equals sign, the PV, this parentheses, and this parentheses, and then those commas in between. Don't put any spaces in there. All right, so a heads up, next week we're looking at section 12, and also we're going to take a little bit of a look at your project that you'll have to do. And then we should have time in class next week to work in groups. So if you can not be on your cell phone for class, that would be great. If you can be on your other type of device, you can participate in the group activities, and we'll look forward to that.